Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and the wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can.
If that's the essence of your entire political identity, you might be a white supremacist.
Was that last picture something new? That seemed like something new and flavorful. So welcome back if you joined us last week, if you joined us normally, or maybe this is your first time you are watching This Week in White Supremacy. I am Jasiri X. I am the co-founder CEO of One Hood Media. To my immediate right, you know what I'm saying? Never loved supremacy. You know what I'm saying?
I never loved supremacy. I never liked supremacy. You know what I'm saying? No love for supremacy.
I'm with it. And then back together again. They already got a little rap playing together.
Back like we never left. The Southern to the sophisticated. The country to the culture. The favorite dark chocolate to your butterscotch.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying?
The beautiful and the bougie.
We here. You can figure out which one to put.
Yeah, I mean, my shades cost $500 today. It's something light.
I should put the headquarters. It's all right though.
Brother, as activists, we don't promote that capitalistic mindset.
Hey, listen, I'm a non-profit activist to dress like a drug dealer.
That would lead you to buy $500.
Revolutionary, but thank you. Revolutionary, but gorgeous.
All right. So anyway,
everyone is in their own journey and awakening. So there's no conscientious.
Conscientious.
Purchase in the age of capitalism. We're all doing our best.
You know what I mean?
The system. Wanting to buy things.
Yeah. I mean,
retail therapy is the best therapy, man. That's how I keep myself healthy.
I mean, I think we can. We trying to be a little bit more sophisticated.
With our education and politics.
The sophistication to the Southern.
Hey, what did Michael Jordan say? Republicans buy sneakers too. So
I mean, but now if you had some, what are those? Now if you had some $500 black owned shades, we might be able to have.
I mean, if there was a company, if there was a black luxury brand I knew about, I definitely would buy it.
Why? But you know what?
Black
I don't know.
Won't save you though.
Will it? I mean, you would argue. I'm gonna have like a black owned luxury brand on. I guess you could argue that.
What, Rock Nation?
Yeah, title. Paper
planes.
What is it? Paper plane. Yeah.
That's luxury. That's streetwear. That's streetwear. That's like high price streetwear. I would say that's luxury.
Okay. So you have to have luxury stuff. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not it. It's just like if I'm about shades, I want designer.
You have to walk and ride in luxury, but they ain't prescription. All right, so let's get into like what we want to talk about.
I don't know. I don't know if I can get these in prescription.
And this nigga gonna comb this. You're gonna comb your hair during the show too. All right, so
and the beard's gotta be fresh. You know what I mean?
Come on.
That's the money maker.
So, revolutionary but gorgeous. Don't know what man came for, innit?
I think that's what I think. Nice. I think you meant to say money spender, but we'll get into
niggas dick go shopping today.
We're supposed to be canceling some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I don't know if we all should have had like a bottle of Coke or something next to us.
I know some Coca-Cola. We should have had
Coca-Cola.
I
am kind of tired. I do need some Coca-Cola.
Yeah, some Coca-Cola. But we do want to get into because like right now, and it's, I guess the question is, should these corporations and these CEOs be getting involved in this political debate? So of course, if you haven't been watching, Georgia passed some of the most restricted voting laws that we've ever seen. Obviously, it was not in response to voting fraud because Georgia's own Republican Party basically said that there was no widespread voter fraud in Georgia, but it was really a response to the fact that specifically Black and brown folks turned out. Warnock and Osloff were elected to the Senate. It kind of flipped it to the Democrats. Donald Trump lost Georgia, a Republican lost Georgia. And so in response to that, Georgia passes these restrictive laws. And, shout out to Black Voters Matter Fund, as well as, what's the other organization you work with in Georgia? New Georgia Project. All of these organizers in Georgia basically collectively challenge some of these corporations that exist in Georgia. Delta, Coca-Cola, and really before the vote even passed, had demanded that they take a side because, these corporations money to Democrats and give money to the Republicans as well. And so unfortunately, it was after the fact that Delta and Coca-Cola came out and denounced the rule, but then Major League Baseball stepped in and pulled the All-Star game from Atlanta, basically saying because of these restrictive voting laws, we're going to pull an All-Star game from Atlanta. They put it in Denver, Colorado, and then the Republicans went crazy. Although Donald Trump, I guess, had a Coke on his desk, he's talking about boycott. He sent out he can't tweet no more. You know what I'm saying? So Donald Trump got to send emails. He got to text you to your phone. I mean, he went back to the 90s. Anymore. Yeah, he definitely went back to the 90s, but basically was boycott Coca-Cola, boycott Delta, I guess United Airlines, whatever organization, boycott baseball, don't watch baseball. And so, Mitch McConnell even went as far as to say that, CEOs, corporate CEOs should not be speaking on these, even Mitch McConnell's got more money for corporations than any other sitting politician. So I'll come to the Wonder Twins. Should these corporations, you like that? I'll come to the Twins. Should these corporations be taking a stance on something like this, or should they be quiet? Should we all be speaking out? Should they be quiet? What should be the response? And then do they set themselves up for kind of this pushback from the people that hate cancel culture until you say something against them and then they cancel it?
I mean, at the end of the day, a corporation is going to corporate, and so they're going to give money to whoever they can.
Right.
That's going to be the new shirt. Corporations going to corporate.
That's what they're going to do. But Coca-Cola has a vested interest because it's illegal to give people food, water, and beverages. What is Coca-Cola? A beverage company. So if people go out there and start passing out Cokes, literally they're going to go to jail. So they have a vested interest. In addition, for MLB to move, they were going to honor Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron is the same African-American baseball player who said that Colin Kaepernick was on the right side of history. So if you're going to actually honor and not have these performative measures, you're going to have to take a stance. And what they are doing is what they've been pushed to do, because they're understanding that the way these Republicans are now operating is in this fascist way, where if they don't like something, they're going to take it from you. So we saw them say, we're going to cut your taxes. Well, then, of course, these corporations are going to now organize against Republicans because they want their taxes to still be low. So that's what they're going to do. And they should. That's what Citizens United said. It said corporations are people. Republicans didn't think about when these people become woke and liberals. Mm-hmm. So this is where we are. It's going to be funny. It's going to be interesting. We have to see what Home Depot is going to do. Delta tried to play both sides and got called out. So it's going to be very interesting next couple of weeks, because the bill is just bad. And again, for people who do not understand, outside of making it illegal to give people food and water, it also makes it that the Secretary of State no longer has the authority to certify ballots. So literally it's county by county and it's partisan. So if people don't want a particular candidate to win, they can just not certify the results. You can question anyone's ballot now. You don't have to be notified. You only get notified in the mail within 3 days. If you learn day 5 that your signature has been challenged, you're SOL. So there's a lot of issues with this bill that makes it harder for people to vote outside of the traditional restricting days and times of early voting. And this is why people are so up in arms about this bill.
To co-sign my country compatriot, the caucasity of capitalism is a conglomeration of white supremacy, right? And it was super interesting to me that Coca-Cola will come out, because Coca-Cola has been part and parcel with monopolizing and really gentrifying and just rendering Africa inert for a long time, the continent, and just doing a lot in terms of sabotaging the process and a lot of African businesses. So I thought that was interesting that they would come off for a Black Lives Matter thing. But in developing nations, Coca-Cola has kind of been like this stranglehold at denying indigenous people water supplies. And why they came up with that whole initiative of our water is clean and organic drinks and all of that, because that shit got put out on Front Street. So, all that is lip service at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But it's always funny that when, these organizations, these corporations want to be sorry after the fact, that, it's just right now, white supremacy is sexy to hate. That's why we here, innit? But the thing is, it's like, we have a real fight against it. Whereas right. This right now is performative. It's no different than putting up black boxes last summer on Instagram. All you know what I mean? I would be hard pressed to believe that there's not a tax write off for this for them. You know what I mean? Like someplace on the back end.
Right. I guess we're freezing a little bit, but I guess if y'all can kind of bear with us through some of the technical difficulties, maybe Coke is hating, maybe corporations is hating on us as far as this conversation.
It's because that alliteration was too cold.
That alliteration.
Man like me got all the words in it.
It froze up the thing, but I think it's performative, but at the same time, like it's I appreciate the fact that like organizations are holding. Come on, bro. Organizations are holding these folks accountable and like forcing them to take a stance. I do think that we should do that. Like I think that we should say, because we spend, black people spend a lot of money on Coke. Coca-Cola would damn sure put us in their commercials, and so will Delta, and so will United. And so I like the idea of people saying like, okay, this is obviously racist. This was obviously a response to black people voting. You gotta say something. Are you with this or against it? And so, do I feel like, do they really care? Does Coca-Cola really care? Nah, they don't care. Whoever's the president, they got money to lobby that person. So if it's Trump or if it's Biden, they got the money to lobby it. So I don't think they really care at all.
I got a question for the Pittsburgh people. I was told when I came to Pittsburgh that Coca-Cola is for white people and Pepsi is for black people.
Oh, lies.
No, in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, that's real shit.
Yeah, and me personally, I prefer Pepsi. I love Pepsi. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like one of my favorite vices. We all have our
flaws. It's okay though.
It's like when you walk into an establishment and they have Coke products, like what their target audience is.
Right. Yeah. I have noticed that patronizing restaurants up here that Pepsi is in blacker restaurants or restaurants that have more black people.
I don't know. Maybe that was because wasn't Michael Jackson with Pepsi? Maybe it was the Michael Jackson. I don't know. I think
remember that shit? They burnt Michael Jackson the fuck up.
Yeah, but Michael Jackson was dancing for Pepsi. I think Sprite had the hip hop. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's around that. But just like you said, like to me, if you're going to use our culture when there is a on black voting rights of black people, you should say something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the fact that like these companies are saying something, whether they moonwalking or not, I feel like at least is a step in the right direction. When previously they didn't say anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think it's super weird that Mitch McConnell was telling them like to just shut up and stay out of politics. Like they're not people of this country as well. Shut up and
send me donation.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The preamble does start off with "we the people," right? So it's like, doesn't that mean we the people have a right to speak out against like weird politics?
But corporations are people too. Corporations,
right? And that was a Republican thing to push. But I think Farouk made a great point in pre-production that Neil shouldn't speak on politics, but you actually supported Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Not a politician, but supposedly a businessman or CEO. And of course, he ran the country like he ran his businesses. He like ran them to the ground. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's wild that you say the city CEO shouldn't speak on politics or speak on this legislation, but you supported Donald Trump running and doing what he did. You were saying,
No, I was saying, like I said, Trump CEO, he's the president. What are you gonna say to him? Like, I think that's a very interesting statement, especially when all these niggas play golf together. So what's that conversation sound like with the links?
All right. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, I think in this moment, what was different about this moment that I respect is like folks made these CEOs. No, we need you on the record publicly because, like you said, most of these conversations that these CEOs are having, obviously they're talking to these senators, these presidents, and these other people, but they're talking to them behind closed doors, and we don't get to hear those conversations. You know what I'm saying? We don't get to know like what's being planned, although a lot of times we feel the effect of it. What about America? What about and it's wild that that there is a white Republican senator named Tom Cotton. You know what I'm saying? And I tweeted something that said like it was the closest thing simulation can get to Jim Crow without like it collapsing on itself. That nigga's name is Tom Cotton. He actually came out and said that that America was under incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? That like there wasn't although
he said that for years. He has said that for years and was the one person who basically derailed the resentencing act that the past president tried to put forth. He really believes that more people should be in prisons and jails.
How many more people? Like
all the black folks.
I mean, clearly, but like, has he not checked
free
against the global incarceration statistics?
He don't care. He thinks more people.
Tom Cotton must be getting picked on
from Arkansas. From Arkansas.
Like, I mean, I know that a lot of
slick
and corporations, would share this because privatized prisons, right? But to on record say that the troubling thing about human warehousing is that you start calculating those statistics at grade 3 for children. The moment children are proved to be functionally illiterate at grade 3, you pull money from schools and you actually donate that money, redesignate that money for prisons. So the fact that's just a troubling, that's literally how the mathematics work. That's literally how it works.
My question is, and it's like, yo, can we start with everybody after that rioted on January 6th? Like, can we start with them? Like, I mean, like, yo, like, I believe that population is under incarcerated. Like, I'm with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but when your
people are under incarcerated. Let's switch. Let's switch that.
That's gonna be the lead. This three agrees with Tom Cotton.
Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a clickbait.
Right. Well, I'm saying that, like, when it comes, it's what's interesting is like, yeah.
I'm about to tweet that right now.
Man,
No. But no, I'm not, what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to like crime being up, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what's wild. Like, these Republicans aren't looking at what happened on January 6th as criminal acts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you had the dude from Johnson from Wisconsin that basically said, "Oh, I wasn't scared. If this was Black Lives Matter, I would have been scared. But because these were white people that ran in the Capitol, he wasn't scared. Although, Capitol Police died, people was injured. And so now a study came out that basically said, hold on to your hats. It may be a surprise that the main cause of people that came to the Capitol to riot was about race. That the defining factor of these peoples were they came from counties where the white population in these counties had diminished and more immigrant folks and more black people moved into these counties. That was the deciding factor. Are y'all blown away? Are y'all surprised? React.
Water is wet today.
I'm not surprised at all.
Well, I think it was because remember trying like this was economic anxiety. This was white people that were worried about, and similarly to when Trump got elected. You know what I'm saying? When Trump got elected, it was economic anxiety. Now when it's white people running up in the Capitol, they kept trying to play this as just some type of economic anxiety instead of saying, no, this was just flat out white supremacy and race.
The browning of America has literally shaking these people to their boots. And the thing is, what's interesting to me is that all crime in virtually every American city is down due to gentrification. Yes. White people have reclaimed the inner city areas that result in black people being removed distantly to the suburbs and dispersed. So even when you see us, you don't see us because it might be like 4 or 5 of us in one area, and then they relocated, you know, the rest of the neighborhood 15 miles down the road or something. You get me? Like, it doesn't make sense to me because white people have reclaimed all the business districts. They've reclaimed all the economic centers. They've reclaimed
in
all
some
the
places.
Well, yeah, some place, right? But I mean, most of the areas that count.
These are. I mean, and from what I understand with this study, these are white people that like have, you know, it was white flight. You move away, you move to the suburbs. You think like, okay, I moved here to get away from black people and to get away from brown people, and then you look up and your school is like now 10% black and brown, and then they start to panic. Like, you know like
10% is something. Like if you have a school of 1,000 children and 10%,
where did all these black people, brown people come from?
Do the math. Like, do the math. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Because, but this is what happens, and this happened at some school that I think it was in Texas. Because then with the presence of black and brown people, then now what are we talking about? Hey, yo, they being racist in these schools. They blacks in these schools. They're, you know, the teachers in the bathroom or, you know, in the classroom doing type of wild shit in the school, and then that gets reported, and now then, you know, people want to, hey, can we have some culturally relevant education? And then all of a sudden, white people feel like
that's anti-American.
Right, it's like. They just like, can we just be able to be with around each other, call you nigga, you know what I'm saying? You know, beat women. Like they just want to do that. It's like they want to take shit back to 1950. And it's like when we try to say like, no, like actually this person, you know, can you identify this person by a different set of pronouns? It's almost like that's like torture. It's like
you know what?
Physically torturing white people. It's crazy.
I have a theory. So what if it's racism and economic anxiety? Because these white people are anxious that black and brown people are starting to take part in their economy.
You know, I mean,
I feel you, but we built it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
black people
built it on our backs, man. Come on, goddamn.
Yeah,
we can't participate. Go ahead, Farouk.
No, I was just saying, like, you know, black people command expenditures, so the economy actually rests upon black people. Like when we had that, what is that recession? Black folks brought that shit back up. You know what I mean? Like black folks brought that shit back up. So it's really about what it comes down to, bro. It's like it's school zone taxes and shit like that, property values. They feel that. And this is what Jasiri always says, the safest communities aren't the most police, it's the most resource. They feel that the presence of black people is going to lower the property value, but that doesn't do anything at all. Black people don't bring poverty. Poverty brings poverty, right? It's just It's that simple. There's
lack of opportunity and lack of investment bring poverty.
That's what it is. There's a misnomer that's equated with black people and poverty when actually our middle class areas that predominantly black neighborhoods are economically thriving. So it would actually do you a justice to your community, to your property value, to your school zones, to all of these different things to have us in your neighborhood. Not only that, increases culture and we make your food taste better.
And then, like you said, like you said, like we're also dealing with the situation like in my neighborhood where I had a black neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And then just kind of like you said, white folks just came in and just took the shit, put bike lanes all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
And they put up Black Lives Matter signs because they got all the black people out.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so like that's also another piece to it. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, it's like you can't have both. You can't be mad when black people come to your suburb, but you want to come and gentrify, you know, our black communities at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But you know, maybe what's going on? Woogie's back.
Woogie's back.
Yeah, what's up? Woogie? We miss you. So look,
you gotta hit us in the DM so we can send you a care package.
Yes. We gonna look out for you. So maybe we're wrong about this race conversation, and maybe we should be listening to somebody who has more expertise.
Who's royalty? Who's technically royalty,
sir? Maybe
he knows a lot more about
Charles,
this than we do, for sure.
The round is rebound.
I think right. So Charles Barkley did attempt to speak on race. And so let's hear what Charles Barkley,
that Aquarian shade.
He tried his best.
Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead. Tell us what's wrong with America.
News, how painful it was.
Yeah, but the one thing I took out of that piece was, man, I think most white people and black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart. But I think our system is set up where our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power. They divide and conquer. I truly believe in my heart most white people and black people are awesome people, but
Awesome
we're so
people.
stupid following our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And their only job is, hey, let's make these people not like each other. We don't live in their neighborhoods. We're all got money. Let's make the whites and blacks not like each other. Let's make rich people and poor people not like each other. Let's scramble the middle class. I truly believe that in my heart.
You know, I remember one time when I was like driving down the street, you know what I'm saying, and a bunch of politicians pulled me over and pulled their guns on me. And threat. Y'all remember that?
Vote or die, niggas. Vote or die.
Charles, really?
I think it's very important to remember that unity without accountability is violence. And it is a continuation of white supremacy. I don't care whether or not you like me or not. I care whether or not I can have access to clean water and fresh air and homes that don't have lead. I care whether or not my zip code and my race is going to dictate the amount and the quality of education my family and friends are going to have. It's not about liking somebody. It's not about this good or bad. White people can be bad and still do good things. White people can be good and still do bad things. Right now, we talk about these racist, anti-black, homophobic, xenophobic white people who are in power, who are creating policies that harm folks. And had he actually just went another step and been like, in order to come together, we have to address these issues, we could have been having a different conversation. But people like Charles Barkley, who have reached a certain level of success, who somehow believe that we just all need to get along and not ask and demand for accountability and apology and inclusion, keep pushing these false unity narratives, and it's harmful. It is anti-black and it's violence. Because you want me to just go hang out with somebody who was storming the Capitol so I couldn't have rights. You want me to go have dinner with somebody who's like, hey, arrest her for giving somebody water. I can't be at that same table. We have to have some conversations, some forgiveness, some transformative justice, right? And to ignore that is very problematic and inherently violent.
We have to, not only did she just crush it, but we have to hold these celebrities very accountable when they start preaching these respectability politics on these platforms, right? Because you can get away with that. Your tax bracket allows you privileges that 99% of the country, regardless of creed or makeup, don't enjoy. So you have the liberty and the privilege and the freedom, and please don't think they're all the same things. Liberty, privileges, and freedoms are not synonymous. They are all equally unique. And once you get into the upper echelon, you can enjoy them. But you can make comments like that because the shit really doesn't apply to you. Charles, you go into your gated community and close the door, the rest of the world don't exist to you. You know what I mean?
And like you said, he has access to those tables. He has access to those resources. Who is president or who is in these offices is not going to affect him. If he gets pulled over by a police officer, he can say, "Hey, I'm Charles Barkley." You know what I'm saying? Like George Floyd didn't have that same liberty and freedom. When he was pulled over.
We can also I'm not. I'll be honest with you, man. I love Chuck as a player. You know what I mean? I love the "I'm not a role model" slogan. I thought that was powerful for a lot of reasons. You don't have to necessarily agree with it. I love the sneakers. But we have to call Chuck's moral compass into question also, right? Because Chuck he's never really been a friend of us in a lot of these, in virtually all these forums. So for him saying that, it's basically just like having, a white man with blackface on saying that shit to me.
But he is one of those black people that people will say, well, Chuck, because a lot of white people retweeting that, like how smart Chuck is and he's so intelligent, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he does find he's always talking about police and all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You were going to say something, Miracle?
I think it's why we have to develop a politic, right? Because you can't talk about Marxism and, arguing that we have this intentional class divide without actually talking about why the bourgeoisie want to have this divide, right? You can't talk about, oh, they're pitting us against each other without talking about the ways in which they're pitting us against each other. If you are someone who's racist, how are you going to advocate for Black and brown lives now under unity, right? We don't want to have those conversations. These faux calls for unity just allow people to go home at night and ignore the fact that we have millions of folks homeless, not having shelter, not having food.
That's huge.
Not having health care. But, we're all together. We're all one people, but we're not. We're suffering. We are 100%. The richest nation with the most unspeakable, unforgivable, unconscionable disparities, and all we have to show for it is faux calls for unity, and that's the problem. So if that's what Charles believes, I would encourage him to follow No Name, look at join the book club, read some more about Marx, and think what it means to actually unify the working class folks against the 1%.
The purity of the streams of consciousness from the Wonder Twins today is just top tier.
I think it is, but I don't want to say this. I think it's like really, he basically just said like all lives matter, and it's like to act like that Black people don't have a different experience in this country outside of whatever politic that you have, like, because when and you've talked about your experiences as a student in school trouble and somebody just stereotyping you based on how you look. Like, there wasn't no politicians in that classroom. Like when that teacher basically just judged you, because of the color of your skin or what neighborhood you might have came from. And so I think like to act as if like there is no like, oh, all the same people. And if these politicians just got out of the way, like everybody would get along. And it's like, nah, Chuck. Nah, it's not working like that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna say something?
Yeah, Charles Barkley, he's a corny dude to me. You know what I'm saying? Because like the way I see his whole rhetoric is like he's preaching like this same house rhetoric, but it's like we're in the same house, but we're not experiencing the same circumstances. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you take politicians out of it, there are business owners who create policies against Black and brown folks. You go on the South side, under normal circumstances, there are so many restaurants I couldn't get in on the South side being dressed like this. A Black man with my hair tied up and some sneaks on. You know what I'm saying? They won't let me in. They would deny me service. And it's not politicians doing that. It's regular business owners. You know what I'm saying?
True. And it goes back to even that conversation we had around gentrification and what it means when Black and brown people show up. So let's take the basketball, because there was another basketball player, and I don't know what is going on with these brothers. Can you? I know what Miracle is saying, but basketball players is. It's a different experience. But a Black man was just named the head basketball coach of the University of North Carolina. That's one of the most storied. Are you ready? You ready, Miracle? That's one of the most storied. College
USC,
jobs.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? This is like one of those top tier programs, and this is the first time they had a Black coach, and I guess he might have been a little bit uncomfortable. So
I feel so bad, man.
Can we cue Hubert Davis at his press conference that he's now the first Black college basketball coach at the University of North Carolina? Go ahead, Hubert, take it away.
Specifically African Americans. I know that it is significant that I'm the fourth African American head coach in any sport in the history of the University of North Carolina. I'm very proud to be African American, but I'm also very proud that my wife is white. And I'm very proud that my 3 beautiful, unbelievable kids are a combination of both of us.
What did that have to do with anything?
Somebody did not understand the assignment. And
I can like imagine, like in his mind, did he start to feel like, yo, I'm going full Wakanda like right now. I gotta let him know that like what was necessary.
Gonna pull it back. No, when you go interpreter.
Right.
I don't know. Right. I think that there's a million ways. And again, he's on this national stage. He may just feel unprepared, shocked, and he just decided to pivot to make sure you knew his white Nubian queen was the highlight of his world.
And when he get on, he'll ask for a white girl.
He got her before he got on.
Oh yeah.
But I think the problem is this idea that
it's a badge of honor.
We're not gonna have that conversation.
I mean,
I think the problem is that Black people feel like we cannot be complete in our Blackness, right? That we cannot celebrate our own accomplishments, that we cannot take a moment to actually look at the barriers and the ceilings that we're breaking, because we still have to pivot and bow down to white supremacy.
Have that adjacency to whiteness to be acceptable. Yeah. Like I have a white wife, therefore I have worth.
Right. And it's also the idea that I'm this first Black, but I'm not your Black. I'm not going to be this pro-Black, right? I have this white wife who's biracial.
You're going to make this nigga kill himself.
No, I'm not. Don't say that. What I am saying is the system. It is the system, my brothers. Basically, it's saying that he could have been like, I'm so happy I'm the fourth Black coach.
Right.
But we are in a state where there's almost 50% Black. And I understand the significance. That, he could have called for more diversity. But I think he's also signaling this is North Carolina. I know what's going on in the South. I'm not about to be, over here like Colin Kaepernick. And that's where
it's what
I could just imagine. I just imagine him talking. And him turning his head, and his wife just like did she give him some type of cue that he was being too Black at the time? I don't know, because it's almost like he was feeling the moment. He was like, man, I'm very proud, to be this Black person, to be in this. It's almost like he looked in the crowd and the white people was like, oh, by the way, what else I'm proud of? I got my white wife, and then all the smiles came. Oh, okay, yes, that's the guy we hired. That's the guy we want to see.
Bully him.
No, I mean, you know what? Love who you want to love, right? Like I'm not.
Who you want to love.
You know what I'm saying? I'm really not upset at that. I think fun. It would be comedic if we have a lot of sports fans on here. That would be a speech I would expect to be from a Duke coach. Like if you went to Duke and became a Black head coach, I would expect that there at Duke, but not North Carolina. But whatever. But but that is though. It's almost kind of like that Get Out moment. You know what I mean? Right. Where Lakeith, you know what I mean? It's like you realize that if I go too far into this, I still live in the American South post Trump, but we're still very much in MAGA country. This can turn out very dangerous for my life and my family.
Right.
So I think it's he was trying to, but it's a shame. I don't think I've ever heard "Be Complete in Your Blackness" until today, which is dope. But it's a shame that we still can't be complete in our Blackness because we have to rely on that adjacency of whiteness for safety. Please don't hurt my children. My family has white people in it.
100%, 100%, and that's basically exactly what it was. It was I'm not, I'm Black. Like Miracle said, I'm Black, but I ain't black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a white, I married a white woman. I'm not that.
I'm dark skinned. I'm dark skinned, but don't. No, I can kick it with the rest of them. And it is interesting to see that, because I think on the flip side. I would say the flip side or the reverse of kind of Hubert Davis and his proud to be white wife is white boy Summer, and kind of Chet Hanks saying this nigga is the bane of my existence. He's Justin Bieber without talent.
It's funny.
Well, Justin Bieber had Martin Luther King on his album, so
I can't stand him either. He just credits my whole country.
Right. And it is weird that as Black people, we're so a lot of times it seems like we're really desirous for a white person to come to the barbecue and be a part of what we are. And so Chet Hanks was this guy that, he was doing his patois. And it's also wild that we only know Chet Hanks because his dad is if he didn't have a famous father, he would have no background.
Bro, let's talk about this, bro. John, zoom in, please. I gotta have a heart to heart with Waste Man.
Listen to the show.
Listen, Waste Man. Now you know them cats, Your dad is Woody from Toy Story. What ends did the man them come from, innit? Like, yo, bro, man never seen you shotting nothing on them roads and that. Like, you posting videos with the skang and that. Bro, we don't need to see them things. Your dad was in Philadelphia. Your dad was in Castaway, bro.
Yes.
How difficult was your life in that?
Not difficult at all.
It's
well,
like,
I mean, maybe. I mean, not financially difficult. We don't want to act like just because you got money, you didn't have difficulty.
All Tom Hanks films gross hundreds of millions of dollars.
He has some, yes. Captain Phillips, yeah, all of that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we didn't ask for the patois in that. Yo, man didn't ask for them things. And then to go a step is to call your black girlfriend, who you trophy and trivialize and materialize, a ghetto black bitch.
Yeah.
My nigga. That's what you want, right? You want someone to say, nigga, right?
Has he commented on that?
Yeah,
has he commented on these allegations? Because that was the thing, you know, he came out. Did he?
I thought he threatened to kill himself.
I mean, that might be you hoping that maybe that. I don't know if that's actual fact, but I just was wondering if he commented on that because, you know, after he declared White Boy Summer and was around all these black people and Jamaicans or whatever, this report came out that said that, you know, his black girlfriend had accused him of years of abuse, accused him of, you know, calling her a ghetto black bitch, like. So I was just curious as to if he responded to that or, you know, what is there?
I wonder how disappointed in him his father is.
I bet you he has been taken off of the estate, the trust fund. He don't get no Christmas card. He still got Colin. Colin is cool. Colin is over. Like, I'm a big Tom Hanks fan, right? Colin is acceptable. He could come around at Christmas time. Chet, nah.
You're not kicking it, White Boy Summer. Go ahead, Miracle. Tell us what's going on here.
It's really funny, you know, pre-domestic violence that people were up in arms, but it was Bad Baby and Iggy Azalea. Y'all were all for it. You know, y'all were all for y'all's white Nubian queens with the black sense running around and getting their just due. But now it's Chet Hanks. You'll have a problem with it. I think it's very interesting. Case study, perhaps.
I mean, hey, listen.
I
didn't like it with them neither.
But I think it's again why I haven't always said, you know, I've developed my politic that we should not be having barbecues. We should not be inviting people to the barbecues because y'all invite these white people to the barbecues and they never want to leave. They want to go in the house. They want to play in the kitchen. They want to open the refrigerator. And then we have Chet Hanks going to tell white people not to wear Sperry's, not to wear white clothes, to go and wear Jordans and lace-ups and all this type of stuff. And this is how cultural colonization happens. And we watch this and we keep telling black people that it's wrong for us to gatekeep our culture. But then we have these white folks who literally disparage us, make fun of us, how now are the go-to experts on our own culture. And it's like, stop. No other, like if I go to a Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I go and hang out with my Puerto Rican friends, nobody gives me a Puerto Rican card, right? Nobody's like, they're like, this is Miracle, she's black and she's here. But for black folks, we have to stop giving people these barbecue passes and invite them to the cookout. Absolutely. Because then we get Michael Rappaport and talking about he's done more for black people in the culture than for black folks. And y'all's friend. Y'all, you know.
That hurt me.
He said that?
Yeah, he said before he was in Twitter beef with a black person, you know, because he played a racist in 1990, you know, in that movie.
Because he's in higher learning, Remy, even Remy in higher learning,
He was problematic, but y'all like, oh, he's white and he's in this black movie.
So Chet Hanks did say that his girlfriend was trying to extort money from him, and this is a character assassination.
What is he, a welfare queen now, Chet? That's what you. That's the line. That's the angle you take in, Chet. Really?
Well, I think you make a great point, Miracle, because that's what happens. It's like just like you said, we're showing solidarity with the Asian community, are calling on folks to stop Asian hate. But it's not like, Asian people, like, it's not like they're like, oh, you're honorary Asian with you're like, you make a great point. Like, we show solidarity and it's not that we're asking for that. Like, we're just here to show solidarity. Like, it's not a need. Like, if somebody wants to show solidarity, if you want love on our culture, like, it's not a need for us to like try to make them some honorary member or draft them into blackness. Like, it does seem to be that we tend to do this. And the thing with Michael Rappaport, for those that don't know, Michael Rappaport really, a washed up actor, white actor, but he got into
I'm gonna say he got a good show. He got a good show.
What? What show is he on?
Did you watch it?
What show is he on?
It's the show on Netflix about autism.
Yeah,
that he plays the dad on, but he gets cheated on.
I don't know. I've never seen that. My fault. I guess he's popping now. I have never seen
washed up. He's just problematic. He looks like death. Never mind.
Yeah, he got into I guess
I usually make those statements.
I know.
Come on, don't steal my thunder now.
He got into Michael Rappaport got into a Twitter beef with Kevin Durant, and then he put Kevin Durant's DMs for the world to see. Kevin by the A, and a lot of people just was saying once again, like he was kind of, he was cool to kind of go back and forth with Kevin Durant, but when the conversation went left, like Michael Rappaport couldn't. What is it called?
Atypical. That's it. Atypical.
Yeah.
You know, you got black folks in that show. Now I think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, it is wild to see, like, Kevin Durant, just like you said. I mean, or Michael Rappaport posts a lot of stuff online, kind of plays this like internet tough guy, commenter on all of these things. But when Kevin Durant was giving it to him, then he went and called his lawyer. And so that is kind of wild to have somebody that kind of has this persona. And then like when somebody actually black kind of checked you, now all of a sudden you turn white again. Like now all of that hip hop, I'm down with Tribe Called Quest, all that's gone. This nigga called the police. This nigga, and we see that happen again and again, young man.
That's what I said. My friends know they cannot get a black card from me because they're not about to be embarrassing me out here in these streets. No.
That was always just such a cringy thing for people to like, I allow my white friends to say nigga around me. I'm like, what? Why?
I don't even let my non-black friends of color say that. I'm like, excuse me, what did you say?
Nah, you know what I mean? But like the thing about Michael Rappaport is like he got, he has a lot of those toxically masculine vibes that were very present in hip hop, and where a lot of our elder statesmen in hip hop still co-sign him because he still say a lot of shit that was like, popular in 1990. It's like, like you said, you come out with Tribe and and all these other OG, relic backpack acts and shit. It's like that doesn't like, even if there was a black card, let's say there was a black card, right? And Michael Rappaport had one. It's like a driver's license, my nigga. You're gonna have to renew that shit with us. You gonna have to check in.
Yes.
You got to check the fuck in because like you way too comfortable. You get me? Like you, and it's a two-way.
The minute you call the cops, that shit is over. The minute you call cops with a black person, come on, bro.
We dashing that. You get me? That's a waste thing in that. But like with Michael Rappaport, it's like, my nigga, you can't. It's a two-way street. This how the internet work. And you fucked up and thought because Kevin Durant got a deal with Nike that he's not gonna slide in them DMs and talk spicy. Nah, you got the right one. Kevin Durant's still a hood nigga from the DMV at the end of the day. And he gonna do hood nigga shit.
Yes.
Sensitive man.
He's
a sensitive king.
But that's the thing. We can't sit here and chastise Kevin Durant for being thin-skinned, because it's like we urging all black men to get in touch with your emotions, right? Get that next level stuff.
That is true. That is true. Get that next level. But I mean, you're right though. Like if and then the thing is, this is the thing. If I'm gonna go on social media and pop shit on Kevin Durant, like, and then Kevin Durant addressed me about the shit I pop, like, then I'm gonna go call a lawyer. Like, yo, you started the shit, my man.
That's
like,
really
you
what you wanted.
Well, kind of like you said, he didn't think it's it's like you popping stuff on a little celebrity. I remember it was a rapper. I forget the dude's name. What's the rapper from Brooklyn? He kind of had a thug attitude, and somebody said something about him on Twitter, and he pulled up today. Mano. Right.
Mano was notorious for that shit.
Right. He put, and that's the thing. It's like, oh, you want to hide behind the screen? No. And Kevin Durant was like, when I see you, it's on. Like when I see you, and so now you calling me a lawyer. Like, how about this? How about this, Michael Rappaport? Hey, yo, man. Obviously, this went a little too far, my sensitive king. Like, I apologize. Like, yo, I don't want no smoke. I'm a fan of yours. I like the way you shoot that jump shot. I apologize. please no. And if he just said that, Kevin Durant probably would just left him alone.
And Michael Rappaport's a Knicks fan too, so he was like, you know what I mean?
That's whack stuff.
Disappointment.
Yeah, he had his cocked and loaded. Like Michael Rappaport had his cocked and loaded. He knew he wasn't gonna say shit to James Harden. He knew Kyrie was gonna comfort that ass. He ain't gonna say nothing to DeAndre Jordan. Blake Griffin might smack him. You know what I mean? So it's like, let me go. Like Kevin Durant probably just made him lose his mind because he was supposed to go to the Knicks.
But like you said, if you had a black card, it's revoked, my dude. Like go back over there, do your atypical show. You know what I'm saying? I hope it does well. Y'all like it. That's great. You know what I'm saying? But don't come over here chatting. Don't come over here doing all that stuff. What happened?
Like y'all like it.
It's that Aquarius.
I'm just saying. I never seen. It might be a good show. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Miracle told me.
Right. Yeah.
Miracle. Do you know how many black men make over $100,000 a year?
Kevin
I don't know, a high level, it was a high interest.
High level,
He can't wait. He said that.
Probably
he can't wait to ask that.
City of Pittsburgh by choice.
Man.
But
listen, we need to get Kevin Samuels on here. I'm telling you, that nigga need to do rap battles. Kevin Samuels, if Kevin Samuels was in rap battles, he would win every division.
But it's kind of like, it's like if you watch it, he kind of says the same thing over. It's really like the same thing. Like, what type of man? How much? He sets you up. Like, and how much do you expect that to cost? 4 kids, that's got to be $500,000. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop that. And then once you say yes, now he got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Shout out to Kevin Samuels though. I did want to talk about
you gonna get the.
What you say?
You gonna launch up Kevin Samuels on our platform?
At least he's black.
I guess.
I just said because we mentioned his name. Shout out to him. Not shout out
you know what? Sometimes he says some. He does say a lot of real shit. More time, Kevin Samuels does say a lot of more shit, like real shit. It's just. Not everybody's
like you don't even know where they're at, right? Where do you live? Ohio? Ain't no niggas making $100,000 in Ohio. Yeah, I mean, he's just a wild.
I'm gonna Google your postcode right now. See the gross median income of black families.
So
nigga, you ain't making $54,000. You ain't getting no premium pussy. Shut the fuck up.
I don't even watch this dude. Y'all make him sound hilarious, bro.
He is. Look,
just entertainment. Like if you watch it, understand. Like watch it for entertainment value. Don't try to take no notes. It's like it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, dude is wild. You know what I'm saying? Dude is wild.
Definitely.
But I did want to, before we go, I did want to talk about. I feel like we have to talk about what's happening in France because that's like a high when you talk about like white supremacy at some of the highest level. I mean, to basically pass a law, particularly against children, you know what I'm saying? In France, passed this law that basically said what is it? A woman under 18 cannot wear her hijab.
So
can you break that down for us, Farouk?
So France has had a long history of oppressing Muslims. It goes all the way back to Algeria in World War I, when France invaded Northern Africa and took part with this global axis against Muslims. That's really kind of when the war on Islam started in the West, was when France invaded Algeria, right? And then France subsequently took over the country of Lebanon, and they kind of made their regime felt there. You fast forward to modern times, sparing you the history lesson. France has had a very violent and oppressive system of policies against Muslims. Since the past 25, 30 years, specifically targeting Algerians and Muslims from Africa. These really manifested post 9/11 thanks to the Bush era, when France was kind of reluctant to jump against Afghanistan because of whatever global economy there was there. But they've had it to where it's illegal to wear face coverings and head coverings. I don't know how this just became news because this has been.
I remember, it was like you couldn't wear.
20 years.
Yeah, I remember something where it was like you couldn't wear a hijab on like a driver's license picture or something. It was all these illegal little things. But I think to say to like a woman under 18, like you're actually regulate like a child. What you say?
Say that again.
No, I'm asking you. What did you say?
Oh, the age of consent for sex in France is 16, but to wear a hijab is 18. And the thing is, it's like this really is. There's policies in place that are so violent towards Muslims that they're closing down madrasas, and which is Islamic school. They're imposing these super oppressive and violent custody disputes against Muslim families, deportation, economic oppression and violence in the workforce. It's very. And there was someone in Pittsburgh because I've only been to France once. Like I went to Paris just to buy sneakers, and I went back to England. But it was very interesting because black people there's so many black people in Paris, so many black people in all of France.
And I think the idea is that like you from the outside looking in, that Paris is this cosmopolitan place, this progressive place.
First off, Paris's hood is violent, it's dirty, it's, you know what I mean. Paris is
traditional, it's historical.
Fuck all
that. They
You
don't have like a modern. Anyway, but France has said that it is the birthplace of human rights, and because of that, they are a secular nation. They didn't realize they were secular until a bunch of Muslim people started coming and living within their borders, and then they tried to pass like all of these restrictive laws under the pretext of being a secular nation. But what we're seeing in the application, because they've allowed some Jewish folks as well as some Christians who have.
I wasn't going to touch that, so thank you for saying that.
As well as some Christians who also wear head coverings to have exceptions. They're specifically targeting Muslim women who wear coverings. And there's not even a distinction culturally, because we know a lot of Black people also wear like head wraps and hair coverings for a cultural reason. And so it's another way that the state is able to police and engage Black and brown folks, particularly Black and brown women, because we know that if you harm women, that is a system of white supremacy and patriarchy. And while this is like another global situation case study of how vast and widespread white supremacy actually is, because wearing a head covering doesn't harm anybody, right? It's already most women in a lot of societies are choosing to wear head coverings, head wraps for their family, devotion, respect, for themselves and others. It's not this oppressive thing that the West tries to look at. And if we're talking about human rights and letting people choose and let people have self-expression, what more way is that visually seeing how people engage and visually represent their culture and their religion?
One final and it's wild. I just want to say, like, as a parent, to tell me that like I have a responsibility for this child's care, for my child's like welfare, for my child's education, food, clothing, and shelter, but I, as the parent, can't decide like what clothes my child wears. Like that you can come in and say, no, your child cannot wear this set of clothes. And in the article that Tamia just posted, it actually said the age of consent is 15.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the age of consent is 15. However, like, from 0 to 18, that person cannot wear, and my child can't even choose. And then I, as a parent, have no like agency to say, hey, I would like my child to wear this.
Yeah. This might make a couple people angry, so I'm gonna try to very carefully word this, but as Black people in North America and in the States, we know our lives to be pretty much a horror movie day in and day out, right? At any given time, one of us can end up a hashtag or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not dissimilar what it's like being Muslim in France. It's not at all. France is rife with white supremacists, neo-Nazis. A lot of these people who escaped Nuremberg trials did set up in France. So like, that lineage of hatred exists. And, you have to keep in mind, this does go back to World War I and II, where France and Germany were in Algeria. The Battle of Algiers, if anybody's never seen that shit, like that's a wild fucking movie.
It's a classic,
But like, it's frightening being Muslim in France, specifically in areas of like, in the rural areas where you're not going to get like right outside the city. And people only think of France as just like one city of Paris. Like
you think about Paris, the Eiffel Tower, you want to go.
Yeah, like they don't like, France is huge. Like France is one of the larger European nations. And, it's very, I would just say to take time to be mindful of like how frightening it is for Black people in the States, It's like that unilaterally across the world, just across the equator. I mean, just across the latitudinal line. Black people being killed and murdered in France for the same reasons. Just added religion into it now.
Well, it's like the global reach of white supremacy. We're talking about legislators here and in the United States and in Georgia that are passed laws because Black people came out to vote in high numbers, and you have legislators in France, trying to pass laws to actually like criminalize an aspect of religion. And somebody had said did they ban hijab swimsuits at beaches? Yeah, I mean, right? You're really the reality is, to me, it's like you actually just say you want Muslim people to leave. I mean, that's really what it is. You're really trying to set up conditions to where, and that's part of how we feel a lot of times, as a Black person living in Pittsburgh, like, damn, like y'all just trying to set up conditions to make us like not want to live here. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, what I'm saying? Just tell us like to get out. But that's really what it is. It's like you're actually trying to say, instead of just coming out, but it's wild. These people will say they're not racist. These people will say like, oh, this has nothing to do with Islam. Similarly to like these Republicans saying, oh, this law has nothing to do with Black people voting and the amount of people came out. So just the global white supremacy that like Black and brown people all over the world have to deal with. And so we did want to highlight that. Definitely like, support, if there are organizations that we can support, we definitely want to support them. As we, that this is a global fight against white supremacy. You know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to say one thing, just talk about the globalness of white supremacy. If you remember a few years ago, people were talking about like Sharia law,
yes,
and this is why this was the height of these laws that France began to pass. And we're talking about now about voter suppression, all being based on the big lie. And how insidious white supremacy is that it sounds these alarms, these cultural alarms that get people up in arms to then say Black and brown people are violent and dangerous. And we need regulation to keep Black and brown people at bay. So at first we were gaslit and told, oh no, this has nothing to do with voter suppression. And then today we get these arguments about, well, maybe not everyone needs to be voting. Maybe some people need to be kept from voting, right? As a means to save our nation and preserve our democracy. And so what we're seeing globally, and that's why it's very important, again, to expand your worldview and to develop politics, is because these oppressions are linked. Shout out to the women of the Kabahi River Collective. All of these oppressions are linked, and we're seeing in real time how our rights as Black and brown folks and people of the global majority are being stripped away and denied, and we're being othered. But there's nowhere for us to go. Like if you're bombing brown countries, where are brown Muslims going to live? If you are gentrifying Black neighborhoods, where are Black people going to live? So there's nowhere for us to go. So we have to like stay and fight and push back against these policies. That's cool.
No, you make a great point. And then that's also reason for us to unify and come together collectively and like collectively support one another's struggles and collectively show allyship with one another, across religious lines, across, racial lines as well. I think that's why that's important, because like you said, it's a system of white supremacy that's attacking all of us and even is damaging to white people. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that why we got this show and why we're trying to like push this dialogue that we're pushing right now. So speaking of that, you have a very special white pages that we have today. Miracle, did you want to talk a little bit about these white pages?
Yeah, I do. We intentionally didn't talk about the Derek Chauvin trial today, right? Because we understand Black people need rest and release and respite. But we also want to talk about like this system is violent and it's anti-Black, and we can never get justice within our current criminal justice system. So our book for today is We Do This Till We Free Us.
What's that say?
We do this till we free us.
Give us free?
Give us our freedom. But it's about abolitionist organizing and transforming justice and understanding what we're having to, why we're fighting and advocating. We're also asking people with our call to action to think about what's going on with our prisons and jails, because we know our youth, our kids are in prisons and jails all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for a variety of reasons. I know this series will talk about the task force in a minute, but this book is just a compilation of articles and interviews about abolition and about like community organizing and how we actually create justice in our real lives. And if you're not familiar with Miriam Kaba, who also goes by Prison Culture, I would really suggest you order this from your local bookstore and actually sit and read. But it's a very good compilation.
Well, if you don't know how to read,
there is an audiobook, I believe, available, a version, and some readings that has been done, so you can actually get the information as well. So it's very important for us to understand that the system, regardless of convictions, are not going to give us justice. So we have to show up as people for that.
May I say something real quick when you talk about this task force? I say a joke on here a lot that I can't read. And last night, a friend of mine dropped the book off to me. And I told him, I was like, bro, I can't read. He was like, I thought you just say that on the show. I'm like, nah, I for real can't read. I feel like an asshole now for giving you a book. He said, how do you send text messages? I said, I use Siri. I can read. All right. I can read. Some people really put that shit to heart. And I can't read. Niggas is trying to give me self-help.
He's about to enroll you into a GED program, brother.
He said, how did you get your job if you can't read?
But yeah, so this is a really good book. And
yes. So as far as the task force, I'll call it. We had a program with Alliance for Police Accountability and 1PA. Shout out to both of those folks yesterday around the juvenile. Okay, the Juvenile Justice Task Force, and Pennsylvania announced the Juvenile Justice Task Force to strengthen PA's juvenile justice system. The task force recommendations will be released on Wednesday, April 14th. Register to publicly comment on some of these task force recommendations. You have to register by tomorrow. So you have to register to comment. So we're asking folks to register to comment, to the Pennsylvania Task Force on Juvenile Justice. Just speak about, the issues of, unfortunately, particularly in Allegheny County, where we are in Pennsylvania, most of the people in the juvenile system are Black. Most of the juveniles, I believe at one point it was all of the juveniles that were tried
100% at one point up into the summer
were Black, right? And so there was somebody as young as 10 years old on trial in Pennsylvania. I mean, these are things that need to change. And so we're as folks that have been worked inside of Schumann Center, and Trouble was one of the main people leading that effort of really building with our young brothers and sisters that are caught up in that system. Just want to advocate for them and fight for them, and we're encouraging that you do so as well. So we have the link right there. If you're in Pennsylvania, if that's concerning to you, register to give a public comment around the juvenile justice system and support, the reformation of these systems. I mean, we all of them need reform. Somebody asked the question, what laws do need to be changed? All of them, damn near all of them. And we're working to change policies right now. That's why we're involved in electoral politics to one hood power. We're interested in we get New York City ended qualified immunity and then legalize weed. Like that's the type of energy I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let's do that here. Those are the type of things that we need to do. And so we have folks doing that type of work all around the country. We want to big those up, and we want to take those models and use them where we live. And so I would encourage you, look into the work that they've been doing in New York City around ending qualified immunity, around legalizing marijuana. That's how police would pull us over. I smell weed, and then they pull us over, and then we get targeted and brutalized Now the police in New York City cannot pull you over if they smell weed. They cannot use that as the cause for pulling you over. They'll probably make something else up, but you know what? We'll get to that.
I smell cocaine,
you know, as well.
I smell crack.
That's not my problem, officer.
I'm like, if you smell cocaine, that means you were using that shit, nigga.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Outside of marijuana, it is traffic violations. Most people cannot go more than 5 blocks without committing a traffic violation for pretext. So still be careful. Weed is still illegal on the federal level, so also call your sentences. So tell them to free the weed. Like, come on. 2021.
You know, free the titties and free.
We just gonna work on the weed right now, my brother. So anyway, with that being said, I guess we next Tuesday the return of what Black Pittsburgh needs to know will be
start of Ramadan.
And Ramadan.
Oh
so
the start of Ramadan.
Inshallah.
But what Black Pittsburgh needs to know is our 1-year anniversary show. I did actually April 7th is the 1-year anniversary of what Black Pittsburgh needs to know. It was like April 7th of last year when we launched the show. Shout out to Dr. Cheryl Hall Russell. Shout out to Dr. Jamil Bay. Miracle was on the show as well. What'd you say?
Let me ask you a question right now.
Yes, sir.
Did you think that we would be here last year? Did you think, like a year in the future? Did you like, yo, COVID gonna be okay in a year and we're gonna be fine?
Bro, I was saying September. Like I was saying, by September we'll be back. We'll be back to doing everything. I mean, this is the wild part about COVID right now, brother. Pennsylvania, our numbers is crazy off the hook right now. Like our numbers have gone up. Allegheny County numbers have gone up. So like folks got to be careful. I know folks are getting vaccinated, but the COVID numbers are still going up. Be careful, be mindful, keep your distance, wear your mask, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. But yeah, I never thought in a million years that a year later we'd be doing these shows. But come join us April, and then next Friday is Blacklight with Paradise the Architect and X-Clan. You know what I'm saying?
And me.
And do we have anything? Yes, and for anything else going on?
No.
Yes, Treble has a songwriting and social justice workshop on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? You might want to check that out.
And also on Tuesday, I will be doing a piece on intentional intersectionality with the Erie Arts Council. Yeah.
And I know Miracle, you have something Thursday, right? The table.
We popping, man. So tomorrow at 6 p.m., I'll be joining Veeam, Western Power, and Take Action Mon Valley about building your own table, what it takes to be a candidate in Allegheny County. Stuff. What it takes to be a candidate in Allegheny County at 6 p.m. live on Take Action Mon Valley's page. After that, at 7 p.m., there is the Pittsburgh United Mayoral Forum, which One Hood is a sponsor. If you are not tired of me by then, I don't know why you wouldn't be. But on Saturday, the 10th, I'm also doing a TEDx talk. It's free. If you read it, I get bullied to do all this stuff. And TEDx CMU, you go online to their website. It's free to register. You do a really quick talk. And then that should be all the stuff that I do this week. I think there's something else I'm doing, but I forgot.
I'm selling drugs in white neighborhoods.
Why do you keep saying that? I'm not laughing. Please run up in here. You're gonna be mad again.
Exactly. Be mindful of that. And shout out to Vic. Vic is also doing TEDx CMU. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Vic and shout out to Miracle for that. That's a big deal. So tune in. Oh, you got something else, Miracle?
Milton. Isn't Milton? Did you already mention that?
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Thank you for that.
Look at me. You
popping in these streets, Trouble. You popping.
Thursday, listen. You feel me? I'm out here writing music for musicals and shit. We're showing Milton Thursday and Friday. You can go to New Hazard Theater's website to register to watch. It's free. The free 99. They have cocktails you can make at the crib to watch and enjoy. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely. So shout out, and that was Treble and Brittany Chantel worked on that musical, man. So beautiful. You have something else, Miracle? What else? What else we doing?
What's it about?
Yeah, what's it about?
It's about Milton Rayford. who is a prominent figure in Homewood, and it's basically about his come up, you know what I'm saying, from like when he was a youth to when he met my homie Kaylin Horgan, who he danced with in what is it? So You Think You Can Dance Celebrity Edition here in Pittsburgh or something like that. Yeah.
Got you.
So it's pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah, so just a lot of activity. You know, if you want to get involved, we here, get involved, you know, share with us, build with us. Also, if you want us to get involved with some stuff, info@onehood.org is the best place to contact us. info@onehood.org. Holler at us. So we will see y'all next week on This Week in White Supremacy. Peace, y'all. One Hood.
Peace.
Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and they wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it.